Good morning, everyone. I want to take a moment to introduce to you a former nemesis of mine. And this is because we've had a pretty tumultuous relationship for most of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Ms. Mirror. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something that's deeply personal to me and something that, whether we acknowledge it or not, affects us each and every day. And it's about loving who we see when we stare back at Ms. Mirror. It's about loving what we see there. The person staring back at us every morning is someone who deserves our kindness. They deserve our respect, and they deserve our love. Yet for so many, myself absolutely included, this simple act of staring back at Ms. Mirror and feeling love, it can be fraught with doubt, self-criticism, and sometimes even pain. So now I invite you over our course of our time together this morning and afternoon to embark on a journey with me, a journey towards embracing the reflection that we see, fostering self-acceptance, and ultimately building an unshakable inner confidence. Now, Ms. Mirror, she's more than just a piece of glass. She's a symbol of how we see ourselves, both physically and emotionally. When we stare back at her, we're not just seeing our face, our hair, or our body. We're seeing our story. Every line, every curve, every smile, and even every frown. It tells a tale about our lives and who we are. Now, Ms. Mirror doesn't judge, but we most certainly do. We judge ourselves against standards that are set by society, our families, and sometimes our own realistic, unrealistic expectations. So now I want to take a moment and pause and reflect. When did you first become aware of your appearance? Was it as a child when someone complimented or even criticized you? Was it in your teenage years when that comparison to our peers became second nature? Our self-image is shaped by countless experiences, both big and small. You have the media, advertisements, social networks. They are constantly bombarding us with images of what's considered beautiful, what's considered desirable, what's considered achievable. But the truth is, those standards are often absolutely unattainable. But more importantly, they have absolutely zero measure of what we are worth. So, how did I start learning to love my reflection when I stared back at Ms. Mirror? I want to share with you today a couple of steps that I took that I hope that you'll take to heart in your journey as well, because it all begins with acceptance. Now, acceptance doesn't mean just resigning to what you see. Acceptance means recognizing those beautiful, unique qualities and making a conscious choice to honor them. So now I want to share with you a couple of those steps that I took as part of the beginning of my journey. The first one, and I know probably everybody here is 10 steps ahead of me on this, and this is practicing mindful observation. I want to stand in front of Ms. Mirror and notice the features that are there without judgment, not focusing on the things that we wish we could change, but instead focusing on the things that we appreciate, that we are in awe of about ourselves. Maybe it's eyes lighting up when they smile, or the strength that you have in your posture. But being mindful of these observations when you see them helps start the journey of really being able to accept what we see. Adding to that observation, positive affirmation, because positive affirmation, it has real power. Every morning, it's important to share with ourselves something kind, telling ourselves, I am enough. I am strong. I love who I am becoming, and I love the journey that I'm on. Over time, with these words, you start to mold and shape a belief in yourself. Because while you're doing this, you have to continue to challenge the negative thoughts that will creep in right behind you. Then when you catch yourself thinking, I wish I looked different today, pause. Ask yourself why. Why am I thinking this? Because often these thoughts are not rooted in reality, but in comparison or stories or comments that we've heard. So we need to replace those with the positive affirmations as we continue our mindful observations. And while we're doing all of these things, cultivate a culture of gratitude. Don't focus on the appearance of what you see reflecting back at you. Instead, think about your body's capabilities. Express gratitude for your health, for your abilities, and for the experiences that your body allows you to have. Because I can tell you from personal experience, all of that can be taken from you in a blink of an eye. And you never realize the beauty that you had or what you had to be grateful for until it's not with you anymore. And the last thing that I did that I want to share with you is that I realized that this is not a solo journey. This is not something that you have to do on your own, that you have to be alone with. So don't be afraid to talk to the people who are closest to you, your friends, your family. Or in my case, I spent thousands of dollars in therapy, but it was still someone for me to share and learn and grow and seek support from. Being alone is not an option. The beauty that you have around you should be embraced every day. I want to take a moment now to switch a little bit and talk very briefly about self-compassion, because self-compassion is absolutely one of the foundational elements to loving who we see when Ms. Mirror is staring back at us. It's so easy for us to be kind to others, but we so often forget to extend that same kindness to ourselves. Teaching that self-compassion is about being gentle when we fail, because nobody's perfect. We are going to fail, but it's important that when we do, we fail forward. Having self-compassion when we feel inadequate or when things don't go exactly as planned. We want to look back at Ms. Mirror and say, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of compassion. Now, this practice, the more you practice this, the more it becomes second nature to you. Because around us is a plethora of beauty, and beauty is not a fixed standard. It has evolved over centuries and in various cultures. And what we consider beautiful in one place or time might not be beautiful in another. Real beauty is not the physical on the outside. Real beauty is authentic. It radiates from this self-compassion and self-acceptance and inner peace. Some of the most attractive individuals are those who are comfortable in their own skin. They are the ones who walk into a room filled with confidence, not because we fit the mold, but because we've embraced our unique and individual selves. It's important, so important, to have the act of staring back as Ms. Mirror as a positive experience instead of continuing to look at it as a tool of criticism. We want to make it a ritual of gratitude and celebration. When you encounter, smile at yourself, compliment yourself, not just what you look on the outside, but on effort, your character, and your resilience. If you're having a rough day, let Ms. Mirror remind you that you have survived that day and you'll survive other tough days as well. It's important for us to continue that positive experience with her because there's so much inside of us that's grace and beauty that we want to make sure that we get out. Because in our daily lives, when you truly love who you see in the mirror, it absolutely changes how you maneuver and move through the world. That confidence, it makes you less afraid to take risks. It makes you less worried about judgment. And most importantly, it's going to open you to connections that you never knew that you needed. Your ability to have self-love, it sets a tone with how others treat you. Because if you respect yourself, others will most certainly follow your lead. Now, in the beginning, when Sonia introduced me, she said I'd been on a journey of growth and grace. And that is a very true statement. I have spent a pretty fair amount of my adult life working on myself and making the mirror less of a nemesis. And I want to share with you one of the ways I started to do this because I feel like just the little things might be an easy way to kickstart a journey if you're having a roadblock of how to do so. And for me, it started with just a simple piece of paper and a pen. I started thinking, what can I do every day when I wake up in the morning to start having and making the conscious choice to have a good day? So I started to do a little list. 5 things, just 5. And sometimes 5 was really hard to come up with, of things that I was grateful for when I woke up in the morning. Number 1 was always, I got up. Another day that I have been given to try to make a difference. After that, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes they came automatically with a snap of my fingers. Write it down really quickly. And others, I was like, I'm grateful for my family. Okay, well, I've written that 17 times in a row. What else can I be grateful for? I'm grateful for coffee. I enjoy my morning coffee, especially at 5:15 in the morning here in DFW. I'm appreciative of coffee. But then I also looked for other things that I could be grateful for. I was grateful that I had been blessed with individuals who gave me an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. Because allowing individuals into my life that gave me an opportunity to not only learn more about them, but to learn more about me was something that I could be grateful for. And I continued to look for these 5 things, and I still do it to this day because it's important for us to remind ourselves, especially when things get dark, that there are little things that bring us joy, and that joy is something that no one can take away from us. No one can no one can steal it unless we let them. So don't let them. There are other opportunities as well, as I said, about growth of grace and journey. And so I want to quickly move and share some practical tips that I've picked up over the years. Um, some of them simple, some of them, Michelle, no, I'm not about that life. And that's okay. You'll find your rhythm, you'll find your groove, and you'll find your way to embrace yourself and show yourself that you are amazing. So here's tip number one. And I've mentioned it a couple of times through the presentation, and that is start each day with kindness. Before you leave your bathroom, your bedroom, your house, wherever you encounter our friend Ms. Mirror, say something nice to that reflection. Say, you've got this, or today's going to be a good day. Or sometimes, at least for me, because traffic is not always my friend, today is the day that I'm not going to have road rage, and it's going to be okay. The next thing after you start your day with some kindness is remind yourself to limit comparisons. Social media, the things you see on Instagram, TikTok, all of those other things, those are planned. Those will have filters. They are the highlight reels. They don't reflect our real lives. So it's important for us to celebrate our own journey. We want to celebrate the everyday and not just the highlight reels that we see on other people's social medias. When you're picking out what you're walking out and what you're walking out and what you're wearing, remember to dress for yourself. Wear what makes you feel good and not what you think others want to see you in. If it's a bright, flashy color that you're feeling today, I'm feeling a pink. I'm feeling an orange. I'm feeling a yellow. And I have to admit, absolutely none of those colors look good on me, but that's okay. Every once in a while, I'm going to grab onto those because they're bright and they're happy and it makes you feel good. And that's what's most important. What you're wearing and the reflection that you are presenting looks good to you and you alone. Surround yourself with positivity, whether this be your circle of friends, the media that you engage in, or the environments that you put yourself in. Make sure that there is an uplifting quality to that because you want to have different sources of positivity. And what you surround yourself with is immediately going to feed in to what's happening to you on a daily basis. The next one is super important to me because, well, I just think it's fun to do, and that's celebrate. Celebrate your progress. It's a back and forth journey. It's a two-step forward, two-step back, two-step forward, three steps back, one step forward, no step back journey. And so you want to track the growth that you've made, not just your goals. You've come a long way in your journey, and you should be very proud of that. Every step towards your self love, towards your self acceptance, towards your inner peace is absolutely worth celebrating. Now, how you do that is up to you. For me, it's a nice little treat. I like to just celebrate with a big smile, maybe an extra shot in my coffee or something. But there's always ways for us to celebrate our progress. And we need to remember to continue to do that, continue to celebrate who we are. Because, well, absolutely nobody's perfect. We try. Lord knows I have spent a lot of time trying to be perfect and realizing that that pursuit is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. And ultimately, it's unfulfilling. Instead, I want to encourage each of you, embrace your imperfections because these imperfections, they are what make us unique. These quirks that people may see, these traits, they lay the foundation. And ultimately, they tell our story. We want to see these little bits and bobs because as they tell our story, they're proof of our resilience. They're proof that our journey has moved forward, and it's proof of our inner beauty. I have been so honored to spend time with you today, to share bits and pieces of my journey as I have come to move that Ms. Mirror is absolutely a friend. But I want to leave you with a thought. And that, as I said, the mirror, it's your ally, not your enemy. Every time you have an opportunity to look at your reflection, use it, embrace it as an opportunity to show yourself love, to show yourself acceptance, and to show yourself compassion. Because the journey to loving what you see in the mirror, it's ongoing. And I'm not going to lie, there are going to be some setbacks. And it's okay to have those setbacks. What matters is that you make a conscious choice to keep your commitment to continue trying, to continue to honor yourself, and to continue to believe in your worth. Later today, when you have a chance to look in the mirror, I hope that you'd see more than just your face or more than just your body, but I hope you see the full person, the full, deserving, resilient, and beautiful individual that you are. I want you to love what you see because absolutely you are more than enough. Thank you so much for having me today.